Hey everyone, I'm back to share more of my thoughts, and kind of like last time, it's sort of rare of me to get up, eat breakfast, and make a video, especially before work. So I got on my work shirt, I'm going to serve ice cream, and I got my hair tied back. So hopefully none of that falls in the product. Anyways, I feel like I haven't been making very many videos, and I've had a lot on my mind because when I come home from work, I'm kind of burned out and all that. So it's almost like I feel like I went the last 3 months not making very many videos because I had to take on 2 jobs, and it was really busy at first too, but it's all kind of simmering down and I'm kind of getting used to it. So I hope I can make more videos and get more of these ideas out. It's taken a lot longer than I thought, because I feel like I have to do everything kind of one thought at a time. I didn't used to make my videos this long. I try to get them like under 10 minutes because it seems like they're hard to upload because I'm just using my cell phone. But I'm just like, screw it. I've been letting my videos go on for 20 minutes or so, and it's still working out, but it takes like 3 hours, so that's where I kind of feel like I wish I had something better and a better way to do this. But anyways, just with that being said, I kind of want to make more videos. I'm going to try to make more videos. So today, I want to talk about, when we're sharing what is true, or at least what we understand to be true. And this is an important conversation because I'm sharing what I understand to be true myself, and some of it's pretty questionable. So I want you to see where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not a dum-dum, but I do like to explore some exotic ideas sometimes, and that's where I kind of run into problems with people that don't think I have a very good sense of reality or scientific knowledge, okay? So some of my precepts when it comes to sharing our truth is, firstly, truth is always truth no matter where you find it, meaning that it's something that's just constantly true. It's just the way it is, kind of like I was talking about natural law. Truth and nature are the things that are just true, and it's just the way it is. Whether somebody made it up or not, or somebody decided it or not, it's just how it is. So that's a pretty easy rule to follow. But the reason we need to say that truth is truth no matter where we find it is because it's not always in its complete form. So what we do get is information. So we're steeped in information on so many different levels, from the psychic level to the instinctual level to the physical level, where we have conversations with other people and we read books and watch videos, and what we got to remember is anytime you have a book or a video or anything that's not just somebody standing there talking to you, it's really just another person, because you'll tell somebody something and they'll say, well, that's not what the book says. Well, that book was written by another person. So we have to kind of put in perspective what the information is, where we're getting it, and how that all pans out, because we got to remember that the information is just information, except that some of it provides confirmation, and so you might see that immediately or you might see that later. So until you get the confirmation, it's going to remain information to you till you see the confirmation. But if you don't see the confirmation, again, you're just dealing with information. So that's where there's a lot of conflict over what's true when it comes to spiritual stuff, because a lot of what we have are like ancient texts, and then there's a lot of discussion on where things get lost in translation. People had a primitive knowledge back then, and I think that we've evolved to where we have a broader understanding of how nature works and stuff like that. But anyways, another thing we got to deal with is giving too much authority to people. So I want to say that nobody owns the truth, in the sense that, like, you can't give authority to somebody to control what the information is that being dealt out. Like, so when somebody will say an argument that it's not scientifically proven, what they're saying is that the authorities on science did not okay this concept. It's not okay yet. Even if you know it's true, it doesn't matter until the proper scientific community okays that. And then in religion, I think a big problem, and I really hate to get myself assassinated for this, but the Catholic religion is kind of bad for trying to have ownership of spiritual knowledge and making you answer to a man, not to God. So that type of thing. So we need to respect other people's knowledge, and when we say that somebody's an authority on something, like, okay, so if you've been doing Shaolin Kung Fu for a long time and you get your master level black belt, then you're an authority on Kung Fu because you know what you're talking about. But again, if you're going to a Kung Fu school and they tell you you're only allowed to do Kung Fu, and if you step outside the school, we'll disown you. They want to control what you know. That's what I don't accept. Like churches and certain communities, like you can read this book, but you can't read that book. So somebody was telling me there's a church saying you can't read certain books, that will kick you out. So that's where we need to understand that nobody owns the truth. Okay, here's another example. You know, trust science. Well, what they're really saying is not trust science. You know, like science is a thing. Like, you know, I trust science in the sense that it is what it is, and it's good for what it is. We need science for a lot of reasons, and we know that. But when they say trust science, they're telling us to trust the authorities on science that are feeding us information that we might not agree with. And it's stuff that you can't really deal with. So like, so on sharing our knowledge or thinking that we know anything, first we got to be honest with ourselves about what we do know and about what we don't know. So that's something that Bill Maher said at the end of his lecture on religion. He visited with people from the three major religions that seem to be at war all the time, and that's how he ended it. He said, we need to be honest about what we do know and what we don't know. Simple as that. And so there's a lot of stuff we don't know. That's where we could get started. But we do know a lot. That's what I've been saying, is I think that the human race has really mastered life on a physical level to where we're out living nature and stuff. But okay, back to why we don't give authority to others on distributing truth and just having to automatically agree with them is because nobody has all the answers. And we can't always be right, you know. So sometimes we get mad at people of leadership because they are wrong sometimes. Well, that's okay, especially if it was on accident. But I really have a problem with people taking information and pairing it with other stuff, so that way the stuff that's not true looks true, that type of thing. So that's what we really got to watch out for, is not letting, you know, people do that. And so discernment is the whole issue. If you could tell it's true or not, right? But how do you know it's true? Okay, now I want to talk about flat earth theory, because I think that's a conversation that's coming out of the whole how do you know it's true. So what the conversation is really about is we can't always prove things, even if it seems obvious. Like, so it seems obvious to us that the earth is flat. I mean, look outside, doesn't it look flat? It just goes, you know, like, and like if you put like a level on the ground and all that. So it seems flat, but like since we've invented things to see into outer space, we've been learning that everything seems to be spherical. Therefore, our planet's spherical. Not only that, but there have supposedly been people who've gone to outer space and they've seen the earth and they've had pictures. But the argument is, we still can't prove that the earth is not flat because, you know, here's the problem. We can't afford to take a spaceship to outer space. We can't afford space technology for each household, right? Like, we can have a bicycle and a car, but no one can really afford a rocket except for a few billionaires. So we can't take their word for it because they could be liars and the pictures they have could be computer generated. So how do we know the earth's not just flat? So the conversation is, so this is something where, like, you know, we're given two options. You know, now the earth might not just be flat. It might actually just be part of a bigger planet, and they've got us walled off by some type of ice wall, right? So maybe someday we're going to find out that it's not so much that it's flat, it's part of a bigger planet. They've got us isolated, and they've been doing stuff, though. So if we find out that that's true, at least somebody told us so, and they planted that seed of thought. But I'm willing to bet that we're like all the other planets. You know, it's a sphere-shaped planet, just like they've been showing us. And like, even though I've never been to outer space, you know, I'm willing to bet that that's the accurate description of what the Earth is like. Okay, so yeah, so the thing about information is we're gathering information all the time. Like, so on the physical level, the moment you wake up and open your eyes, you notice the temperature, you notice like the sunlight. It's not very sunny, it's kind of cloudy, and I need to know that because I'm gonna pick something out to wear. So the first thing I think about is the information I'm getting from my body. I'm hungry, I'm achy, you know, so you get information on a physical level, boom, 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 and it goes really fast. But so we respond to information too. Like, so you know how you respond to somebody talking to you, you might have a comeback or an answer. You respond to that. Well, we respond to things on a subconscious level quite a bit, and that's where, like, you come into contact with somebody, for example, and they're cool, they seem cool, but there's like a gut feeling that something's wrong. Like, I shouldn't trust this guy, even though I like how charming they are or how polite they are. Like, you may have a gut feeling because if that person has ill intent, they could be having a chemical reaction in their body, and you might just pick up on an instinctual level, like things get into the air. That's why you see animals sniffing each other, because you get information from the air, but then you may respond to it subconsciously. See, so there's so much information, and then we look at how much information our body can process, and that's where I'm talking about learning from the spirit world, where we have to again wonder if it's even true that the spirit world exists. Are we just a bunch of atoms and we die and there's no afterlife? So of course that's been a big question. And some people feel like they know that or understand that, and some people feel like they understand for sure the other. So I want to do another video where I share my understanding of how things are, like kind of how universal creation and all that stuff. So I think it's a fun topic when we go into the above and beyond. Like, everyone should be okay with, like, you can think about the above and beyond and formulate your understanding and concept of what could be going on, but what we got to watch out for with belief is that it could be incorrect. So the knowledge we have is what we know in our head, and the knowledge we have on earth is what we're able to gather with our five senses and our intellectual capacity. Of course, there's some guys out there that are way ahead of us. They seem to be some really intelligent people. And me, I'm pretty much middle of the road. I don't really see myself as one of the top intelligent people in the world. I think, I'm probably better off than some of the people I meet, but I have no room for, that type of pride. I feel like, being articulate is not my gift. Being intellectual may not be my best gift, but I still enjoy exercising my my brain to think about everything and learn and question. And so when we're talking about physical knowledge, we still have the authorized version of science and information that's out there, and every once in a while we need to update that because we found out it was incorrect, and usually we like to think that's an honest mistake. We're just trying to learn, and sometimes we're not right the first time. And then again, we got to come back to manipulators who are distorting the truth. So we get a lot of what you call conspiracy theory and stuff like that, and it's kind of fun to read all that stuff. So when we had COVID, I felt like I saw this coming because I read about this, that they were going to put us on lockdown and they were going to do all these different things, and I feel like, it just makes me wonder if that's the agenda, if it's anything like they said it was. And so that stuff like that, so that was a very interesting time for us to think about, who we should trust and how to take information with the whole trust science message being out there. Trust science, right? So what they're telling us to trust another person rather than the science itself. But science, again, for those who think I don't have a very good grasp on science, no, actually I do. I think I have the same general science that everyone else has. I mean, unless we go to college and go further into that, we all have the same basic understanding of the physical world. But what we are really struggling on is an understanding of the world that's not physical, because here's an idea that a lot of people might not get, is that the living universe is mostly plasmic, meaning that like living conscious beings like ourselves, only a small portion of which are in the physical reality. The majority are in a less physical reality and on a higher vibrational level. So this is a very crazy concept to people that are materialistic and they don't think anything exists beyond the atomic level. And so I was a very atheistic person, for example, where I didn't want to believe in anything because it sounded crazy. But since I've experienced out of body and a few different things, I've been kind of putting together that there's more truth in it than we think there is. It's just that it's something that's difficult to study. So, as far as the stuff I want to share later on, I really want people to move forward with me with an open mind as I share what I understand. I'm not going to say I know. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. But I have an understanding of how the universe works, and I have an understanding of what I've been experiencing through my life and stuff like that. So I think it's very important that as we share our knowledge and as we share our truth, to just have that sense of like, I'm going to share my truth with my best ability. So when I share my truth, it is to the best of my ability based on my perception, my ability to understand, my intellectual capacity, the amount of clarity I had at the moment. That type of thing is all going to weigh in. And so as I share my knowledge, and this should be true for anyone else, if you're listening to a teacher or a lecturer, I like to have faith that the person is doing their very best to share truth, but be open-minded that that truth, you got to be flexible in learning. And especially if we're going to be dealing with stuff that goes beyond the five senses. And some of that stuff is where you got to wait and see. So for all we know, if there's life after death, you might not know till you're actually dead, right? So it's just something like, if the earth is flat or round, that's something you may not actually know unless you get a trip to the moon. Stuff like that, you know, so we can accept where we're able to perceive and not perceive, where we're able to know at the moment and not know at the moment. But then we still have the possibility of knowing some of this stuff, that what we're talking about that is supernatural or something like this. There should be a scientific explanation for anything. So like, if we can explain what makes us human because we have a mind and all that stuff, like that's really a big question. Some people think that it's only coming out of the brain matter. Others think that the brain matter facilitates it. So yeah, so I just really wanted to make this video to tell you how I look at what is true, what is information, and what is belief. Okay, so I wanted to get back to that point too, because intellectually understood things have been in your brain, but in your heart, and I'm not sure, like somehow the organ seems to tie in with that energy center. That's where we sense things on an instinctual level. So I think, not an instinctual level, instinctual levels we sense with our body. It's like built in to us through our DNA, but intuition is more of a spiritual thing. So we kind of have an energy around us they call the aura, right? So it's kind of like part of our, it's like a nervous system, that it's feeling the energy that's in the aura of the earth, and that's where we get intuition. Like maybe being around a person that could be dangerous to us on the instinctual level, we might be sensing the chemical release they're having. On the intuition level, we might sense it in their spirit, you know, that this person is up to no good. And so being able to learn from these different avenues is the trick. So we obviously have a way of discernment on the physical reality, but when it comes to like intuition, it's a much more complex process of discernment, where the best thing you can do is kind of share your experiences with other people, and they might come back and say they've had similar experiences. And so just like science, what we do is we kind of compare our point of view. So we might find that the same thing is true for other people, like when they've had a near-death experience or have gone out of their body, they've made similar observations. So that's where we can put all that information together and get the idea that, you know, yes, you can experience reality outside of the body. That's exciting, actually. And not only that, but when you do get outside the body, you can get a lot of information. Now, I want to point out that even if you do have a spiritual experience, much like the ones I'm describing, it's still just information. And that's what I was talking about with, I feel like I was tricked into thinking I need to go out and find this particular individual, and he's somebody who might be interested in marrying me. This could be my soulmate. But then a bunch of other information was thrown in there that seemed to be true, so I found out that it was true, but then I found out some of it doesn't seem to be true. And so that's the lesson, is like, it might even be dealt to you in a big fancy way, but still, we're just talking about information. And again, we have everything from good to bad out there. So many different people and intentions in the world, right? So you got to question everything you read. Like, they're giving away money. Do you really want to click on it and give them your information? They're probably just scamming you, you know. It's so difficult to tell who we can trust and not trust in the physical reality. And now that and this is something people probably don't want to believe because it's scary, is that there could be a whole realm of conscious living beings that affect our life, vice versa. And so like when we're talking about angels and demons and things like this, disembodied beings, that's another area of like, this probably doesn't exist at all, but let's say it does exist. And the way it works is they might affect our spiritual environment. You know, they could change and affect the energy, or like if they can communicate to us, they take advantage of people that don't know what they're doing. And so that's something I'm talking about. So like if I'm going into visionary state, that's why Christian people believe you really just need to go straight to God and skip over all the rest, so you don't make that mistake, knowing who to listen to. So when you're processing information, you know, you just have to remember what you know and what you don't know, no matter where it's coming from. And please, as I'm sharing, I want people to be open-minded and not be like, oh, that's crazy, that's nonsense. It's just information. It's just my piece of truth and my best understanding. Yeah, and so I think these are precepts people should use anyways, whether you're watching my video or not. Like, as long as you can teach and learn something, you know, have the humility that you're not always right, but, you know, if you're sincerely trying to share your knowledge, don't be afraid to share it. And if you enjoy formulating ideas about the unknown and things like that, that's fine. But we, again, want to watch out for beliefs. Beliefs is a way of sensing things, kind of like maybe feeling in the dark, you know, and trying to guess what you're feeling. It's okay to have beliefs, and it's okay to have an understanding, but what again we want to do is be really flexible and be ready to change those beliefs, or understand that it was just a good sounding idea at first, but maybe there's a better idea. So I think it's very important to achieve clarity, because that's the key to discernment, is switching on the lights and you're not like feeling around anymore and trying to guess what things are. So that's what's happening as we're becoming a more complex animal, and we're able to comprehend more, we're going to be able to see more, and now that we know that, we can actually do stuff to help that. So like the Vedic arts really give us a lot of valuable information on improving our energetic body, which gives us clarity, and through purification, like I'm not the example of that, but I would like to work on the purification and getting the toxins out of your body, help to clear up your sensitivity and things like this. Now, for example, my kung fu teacher, Master Tay, his family were very highly intelligent, and they have always done Qi Kung. So Qi Kung is part of the reason their family was always so highly intelligent. So that way they're able to learn very quickly, and be able to think on their own, and be able to make observations, be able to recognize things in reality. So we can do things to increase our ability to learn and understand the environment around us as well. So anyways, just wanted to share my thoughts on sharing my truth before I share any more of it. And I hope you guys have a fun day and enjoy my conversations.